These are guides. This means a way that Larry says support could sound very different than the way you would say it's support. But I could pick up in your conversation what you said that was supportive. One thing that's important that I learned by working with really, really tough kids is be careful about being overly empathetic. Because often kids from a rough background or a very difficult home life don't think we actually understand what they're dealing with. And so when we try to be real empathetic, it almost causes a resistance. I made the mistake early on with this one of a kid came in, it looked like he'd almost been a little bit teary. His eyes were red. He came walking into school that day as a high school kid, and I could tell something was wrong, and I tried to be empathetic. And I said, hey, Carlos, looks like you had a really tough morning, man. I know what it's like when you have tough mornings. And he just stopped and looked at me, and he said, just shook his head at me, and he said, you do not. He said, did your dad slap you on the way to school today? And it kind of hit me of, he doesn't think I relate to his world. And when I try to do that, sometimes I cause a resistance. So I always tell staff, be supportive in the role you are in their life. And I said, you're right, Carlos, I don't know what that feels like. And what I meant to say is, if you're having a tough morning, is there anything I could do to help? If you want to wait to go to class for a few minutes, I'm okay with that. What supportive thing could I say in the situation? One thing that's important that we teach staff as they begin to do this is we let them build their own personal booklet of statements that sound like them for each of these 5. So remember, the foundation that we built earlier that we put up on the wall helps with the expectation and where the expectation breaks down. Because that may say I'm expecting everybody to be respectful right now. I'm hearing this, which wouldn't be respecting boundaries and property. And then how does it benefit the student to do what you've asked? How does it personally benefit them? Because tough kids want to know what's in it for me. So does it help them do better on a test? Does it help them make more friends? We could go on and on that. And then what we do with closure is, how do we get that resolved? Are we at a place where we can move on? Closing statements could sound very different between all of us. I may say, hey, are we on the same page? Is that something you think you could do tomorrow? Those kinds of things could be closing statements. The goal would be is that somebody watching and teaching somebody to do this can coach them and guide them. But a kid hearing it, it would sound different enough between you and me that they would just think we're having a conversation with them. We want it to sound conversational. There is not an order to these. Closure will be last, but the other order can be up to you, just so you build those into the conversation. That way, when a kid tries to take you on one direction, you come back to your next part you want to talk about. It is amazing to watch staff that are scared of this at first get more and more ready. The real neat thing is to see a teacher's confidence level go up.